Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue our October streak of one character Chinese expressions a day. Normally, I started with 4 character, which is time-honored expressions, versus 3 characters, more contemporary. It's more, oftentimes it's a translation or it's a response to the contemporary lives we are having. So it's not really time-honored, but it's more relevant to today's living. Okay. Today we're going to talk about 观光客. Okay, 观光客. It's a Chinese way to translate as tourist. I guess in some sense, people would distinguish tourist from traveler. Right? Traveler is more in-depth, food-based, traveling through another culture or another place. Versus tourist is like airdropped over, spend like a week at most, and then just eat your food, see the scenery, take some Instagram pictures, and that's it, get out. That's more like the 观光客 in this context. Okay, so we have 观. 观 has the left side, that's a bird symbol, a type of bird. So the bottom is bird symbol, and the top, I guess, is describing a type of bird. Okay, let me pair it up. So the bird symbol, you can see this is the head of the bird, and this is kind of the beak of the bird, kind of. It's in connection to something else. But this vertical line here is the beak of the bird, and this is probably the eye of the bird, and these are the aerodynamic little body of the bird. And then these are the fluffy hairs. So Chinese express hair with horizontal lines to mean they're anti-gravity. They're kind of, going horizontally. So this side view of this bird in flight. And then we have this symbol is more like a horn. So it's a sheep, more like a sheep symbol. And I'm not exactly sure what this horizontal line here means, but here are 2 mouth symbol. That means it's kind of multiple mouths. That means noisy. So noisy plus bird. I guess this horn plus this horizontal line provides a context of the environment of that bird. Probably they are living off not that far from where you can see a goat or sheep. So, and also this bird is pretty chirping, noisy. That's the left side. So it's a type of bird. The right side is human see, because the top is the eyeball. That means see. The bottom is human, is 2 legs standing wing. And you can see they're kind of connected. So that means it's combined into one integrated character. Human see. Why don't we just express see, but we have to put a human next to the see? I guess here the language creator wants to emphasize that human see actually is a filtered see. It's not your objective truth. Like everybody look at things in our own eyes, which is already filtered through our past experience, our past bias or existing bias that we, like where we see, what we capture. Even from the same scenery, people see different things, right? And I actually discovered like our eyeballs even have a different, slightly different bio composition, I guess, that the color I see may be different from the color you see, because I have this big debate about, is it actually blue or green color that we see? And somebody else see a different color than me. So we, each of us, see our own see. That's human see. And we have this bird plus human see. That means humans start to see like a bird. How birds see? Bird, first off, have their eyes on the side of their head, right? Not like we are front, looking at the front vision, but we're kind of blind spots all over from the back, right? But a bird develop this visual that's more peripheral in our sense, like not only up to here, our peripheral vision, that they got eyes embedded on the side so that you can see like almost, I'm not sure if it's 360 degrees, but they have a much wider scope of vision. So this bird-like human see means you're actually go somewhere. And of course, we cannot like see without moving. We have to see like a bird, meaning we have to look around, turn our head so that we have more 360 vision of something. So that's a kind of see. It's a wide scoped see. That's guan. Okay. Guang. We have this fire symbol, and you can see this is human figure again. In this sense, I'm not sure this human is connected to that. Okay, this is fire symbol plus human. So fire, it's placed on top of human. Even if it's connected, I don't think we want to touch fire, especially on the top of our head that way. So it's simply because it's connected to make it into one unit of one word. So this fire on top of human actually means the sun, because that's the only light emitting object. The sun is positioned in relative to humans above us, right? And so in this positioning of this fire, I guess the light from the sun is regarded kind of fire-like. So even if it's not drawing a sun over here, this is a fire symbol, which is this cone shape with sparkles on the side. That's depicting the typical fire look. That by positioning it on top of this human figure, that means it's the fire in the sky. And that's the light source of everything that we can see, right? So that eventually means the light. So why watch light? What do you mean light? Actually, Chinese use light to mean scenery. And I guess if we want to go deeper, I want to say that this is even philosophically correct, because the object we're seeing on the outside world is reflection of the lights. You cannot see anything without the light, right? So what you see actually is portrayed in that particular lighting in that moment. And so Chinese use light to represent what's in front of you, that are visible to you, that are reflecting light to your eyes. So this light then become kind of a representation of the scenery. So instead of, well, Chinese has an expression called 风光. 风 is wind, and then 光 is light. Wind and the light together especially mean some grand scenery. Picture Grand Canyon level of grandeur of that huge landscape. That's very, make you feel very small, right? And that inspire awe from you. That's the type of 风光 Chinese would like to depict, because besides the light you see, you're going to feel the wind as well. That in that specific environment, when you're exposed out in nature, you're not in a building, in a shelter, that you don't experience nature in a deep way, right? If you're going out in the wilderness, somewhere like a Grand Canyon, you're going to feel the wind. That's, I guess, particular kind of humidity and temperature and the momentum, the way the wind moves over there would be very different from what you experience indoor, right? So 风光 is a Chinese way to mean grand scenery in front of you. So that 光 is what you see, and the wind is what you feel, right? So 光 光is just peripheral or 360 degree wide scope kind of see the reflection of the environment, right? The sceneries. So 观光 is a Chinese way to say scenery viewing, 360 degree kind of view. You're definitely in the middle of it, because you cannot 观光 on a flat screen. You have to be in there to have that 360 degree vision, right? Okay, cool means guest, means you're not the owner. Okay, so guests have this dome with a chimney, that means domestic space. But the thing is, you're not the owner of that space. That sense of you're not the owner is expressed by here. This means individual, means you have your own interest, or you have your own life trajectory, you have your own journey. Like you're not merging lane with me, right? You have your own life basically, and you're just temporarily living under my private property. Okay, so this gu, it's made of mouth symbol, means speaking. And then this top is backward walking. So Chinese have all kinds of walking symbol. And this made of, backward walking is because here is the long line. I mean, over here is a stylized, it's not its original form, but it has a short line and a long line. And this long line is depicting when you're walking backwards, you'll have to have your full leg sticking out, reaching out, because your knee cannot bend backwards like a bird, right? You have to stick out the whole leg. Therefore, that looks like longer than the front leg. The front leg, when it's supposedly still bending or something soft, right? To provide, to shift the weight. Before you shift the weight to the reached out leg, your weight was still on the front leg, which is kind of bent, right? And then you can walk backwards, right? Imagine how we walk backwards. So from that vision, from that view, profile view, side view, that you can see the front leg appears shorter than the leg that's reaching out, which have to be unbending the full leg reaching out length. So this is a Chinese way to depict that moment of backward walking. So backward walking plus the mouth symbol means somebody is walking from what you're speaking, meaning somebody has a different interest. Somebody is departing from your talking, from your goal, or from what you are saying. Like they are not saying the same, they are singing different songs. Let's put it that way. Okay, so this gu, this individual, like you have your individual life's path, and then temporarily under your dome, under your household. That's the definition of guest. So tourists to the local people are all guests to their local, scenery. They come here to see, but they're not come here to live, right? That define them as guests. They are not here for long. They just, consume and go. So this is what Chinese would map this tourist, this phenomenon of tourist. I guess this is only after China opened up to the outside world in the early 1980s, because from the 70s is kind of a closed off era, and then from the 80s start to have this international exchange of people, non-government activities, from just people curious about how the landscape and culture of people over there. So there is this wave of tourism in China, and that's how Chinese translate them as 观光客. Cash into the currency of thinking by one day with Sophie. 现在的day.